Hello Internet, this is Benatori here to talk to you about the 2018 changes to the YouTube Partner Program. January 16, 2018, it was announced that changes were going to be made to the YouTube Partnership Program. So, for one, Google Preferred is going to be manually reviewed now. For those of you who don't know, Google Preferred is the top tier for Google Ads. Advertisers pay extra to have their advertisement played against YouTube's most popular content. The highest paid YouTubers are highly paid because they are a part of Google Preferred. And as a side note, now that I've actually seen what some of the Google Preferred lineup looks like, this kind of explains where a lot of the "who the fuck are you" people from YouTube Rewind came from. Now, instead of just adding videos to the Google Preferred tier based on popularity, actual humans are going to review videos before the high-paying ads are played with them. In theory, this should mean higher quality videos will get placed in the Google Preferred tier, not just the most popular ones. And to top it off, advertisers are now going to be given additional tools to see where the ads are being played, to who, and how each ad was received by their target audience. This could mean that many popular content creators could see their CPMs go down after being removed from Google Preferred, and it could also mean that it would take longer for these YouTubers to get paid, since it will take extra time to vet a video before it gets top-tier ads. However, these are not the changes that most people are up in arms about. The latest outrage is over what is happening to the small creators. For a long time, YouTube has had an open-door partnership program. If you wanted to make money on YouTube, all you had to do was sign up, and you could serve ads on your videos. In 2017, the partnership program became a bit more selective, requiring channels to have 10,000 lifetime views before being eligible for monetization. This meant that certain new channels would be cut off from the partnership program. Specifically, a new YouTuber would lose out on the first hypothetical $2 to $40 they would have made, since they wouldn't be allowed to serve ads until they hit the 10,000 lifetime view mark. In 2018, new stipulations were added. Now, in order to be eligible for monetization, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time per 12-month period. And then you can sign up to have your channel reviewed to join the partnership program. And each channel that applies will be reviewed by a human before being approved to become a YouTube partner. Now, this whole watch time requirement kind of muddies up the calculations, but let's figure out how much hypothetical money is being lost here with these new requirements. Since CPM is calculated by view count and usually not watch time, we're going to have to come up with estimates based on different quality views to figure out how much money is being lost. In order to get 4,000 hours of watch time, these are the approximate view counts and watch times you would need to reach that 4,000 hour watch time requirement. And these are the total theoretical revenue ranges you would get by achieving these view counts. Now keep in mind that these are ranges, from the lowest likely CPMs to the highest likely CPMs, and considering that these are CPMs on small channels, it's safer to assume that the smaller channels would be getting numbers closer to these values. After all, a smaller channel probably has a smaller sample size to gather data from. And with less data, the less likely you are to be served a high-paying ad. The more an advertiser knows about your audience, the more they would be willing to pay you to serve an ad. This is why bigger channels often get served with better ads, because an advertiser has a larger sample size to find patterns and profile their audience. However, smaller channels have a much smaller sample size to profile. Therefore, advertisers are less likely to gamble on their ad being relevant to the audience in front of them. And the less relevant an ad is, the less likely that ad will provoke a potential purchase. So, I would take these estimates with a grain of salt. Google claims that 99% of the affected channels were making less than $100 last year, and 90% made less than $2.50 in the last month. And given these estimates, I believe them. However, this has gotten a lot of smaller YouTubers upset. Many small YouTubers have stated that now that they aren't getting paid, they simply aren't motivated anymore. Some are saying that it feels like YouTube is saying they don't matter and that they just don't care about small YouTubers. So, as a relatively small YouTuber myself, what do I think about this? Oh boy, here comes the angry part of the video. I think that this decision to cut small YouTubers out of the partnership program is one of the best decisions YouTube has made in a long time. Now let's talk about the state of YouTube. I have been on YouTube as a viewer for 10 years, and I have been a content creator on YouTube for 2 years. And I have never seen YouTube as fragile as it is right now. In my YouTube Rewind video, I may have labeled 2016 as the worst year in YouTube's history, but 2017 was the scariest year in YouTube's history. YouTube got the shit beaten out of it in 2017. Something I think a lot of people forget is that YouTube is a three-legged stool. It needs 3 things in order to survive. It needs infrastructure, it needs content creators, and it needs advertisers. To keep infrastructure intact, you need to pump money into the server space to host the videos. You also need to pump money into engineers to fix software problems. To keep content creators, you need to give them an incentive to use your platform. You can do this by offering them money, exposure, and satisfaction. To keep advertisers, you need to keep advertisers with the assurance that they can materialize sales out of their ad placement. If any one of these legs disappears, the entire thing collapses. No infrastructure, no place for content creators to post, and no place for advertisers to serve ads. No content creators, no purpose for the infrastructure, and no way to incentivize viewers to watch ads. No advertisers, no money to pay for the infrastructure, and no money to incentivize content creators. Over the course of YouTube's history, all of these legs have taken beatings. Infrastructure has taken a beating by operating at a loss. It's no secret that YouTube operates at a loss and only breaks even at the best of times. Content creators have taken a beating thanks to Google's barrage of stupid decisions. The decision to get rid of well-beloved features, the decision to let bots run moderation, the decision to automate the copyright system, the decision to change the layout over and over before settling on the ugliest layout to date. The list goes on and on. But, up until now, it was always okay for Google, because at least the advertisers were there. But recently, that hasn't been the case. Thanks to that Wall Street Journal hit piece back in March, advertisers suddenly started doubting whether they should trust YouTube with their ads. The whole PewDiePie Nazi bullshit article that had been released just a few months prior only made this worse. And then the whole toy channel and child exploitation issue got brought to light, and while that issue absolutely needed to be addressed, it only made YouTube look worse. And then it all got topped off by supposed golden boy Logan Paul acting like an idiot in Japan in the most unanimously disgusting thing I have ever seen hit the front page. YouTube is crippled right now. All 3 legs of the stool have been mutilated. And you know what? They finally get it. Google finally gets it. Google finally understands something that content creators have been saying for years. The bots don't work. The algorithm doesn't work. We need YouTube to be run by humans. We need humans to review the ad tiers. We need humans to vet the front page. We need humans to oversee the copyright claims. We need humans to oversee the monetization enabling. We need humans to moderate YouTube. And they finally get it. It took an absurd amount of shit for them to get it, but they get it now. In December, YouTube announced it was hiring 10,000 humans to manually moderate content. They are going to have humans watch YouTube videos to make sure they are actually quality content, instead of relying on a bot to make the decision instead. And in exchange for finally giving us human moderators, they are asking us to make their job feasible. Not easy, feasible. There is no way 10,000 humans can comb through every video uploaded to YouTube. So, YouTube has asked that we shrink the sample size. They want to decrease the number of small channels that they have to vet, so they can focus on vetting the channels that are already bringing in reliable revenue. YouTube is hurting. YouTube is at the most vulnerable I have ever seen it. The chances of advertisers abandoning YouTube altogether is becoming a more than 0% chance every passing scandal. YouTube finally gets it. And YouTube is trying to take a step in the right direction before it is too late. And yet, all I hear people talking about is, what about my $100? What about your $100? What about your fucking hypothetical $100? This is bigger than $100. YouTube is hurting more than I have ever seen it hurt. YouTube is going to have to make some very tough decisions if it wants to stay afloat, and yet most of the community is worried about hypothetical chump change. Because that's what this is. Chump change compared to what is happening to YouTube right now. Might I remind you that during the golden age of YouTube that everyone seems to pine for, none of us were getting paid. None of us, even the videos that were getting millions of views, never made a single cent. If you need a paycheck on a stick to motivate you to make videos, then maybe you're making videos for the wrong fucking reason. And I've seen some people who are like, oh, well, if you keep treating your creators like this, then we're all gonna leave, and then you're the one who's gonna be in trouble. That threat means nothing to Google right now. In this case, Google doesn't even have very much to lose. Tell me, what's gonna happen to Google when YouTube fails? What is gonna happen to Google if YouTube fails? Yeah, it might be a little embarrassing that they managed to crash one of the greatest ships to sail the internet, but after the public humiliation, they're just gonna lose a money sink. Because that's what YouTube is. A massive money sink. They could just take all their money and invest it in something else. We're the ones with everything to lose here. If YouTube disappeared tomorrow, we are the ones who would be suffering for it. Over the past 13 years, YouTube has given us so fucking much. YouTube has given us free entertainment, free information, and unprecedented levels of communication. And for some of us, YouTube has given us free money. Do you not understand how miraculous YouTube is? Do you not realize how amazing it is that YouTube gives us as much as it does? YouTube is incredibly flawed. YouTube has treated its creators like crap. YouTube has made some absolutely stupid decisions. Hell, I personally have been on the receiving end of some of these dumb decisions. But we need YouTube. YouTube has a virtual monopoly on video hosting. Not because it's gaming the system, and not because they're suppressing the market. It's because YouTube is the best product on the market. No matter how badly YouTube treats its content creators, and no matter how terrible the work environment is on this site, the other sites are way worse. Vimeo, you have to pay money for server space. They give you a limited amount of server space, and if you surpass that, they charge you for extra space. YouTube provides this service for free. Newgrounds, the closest thing we have to a second YouTube, they have a vetting process before they even let you upload. Your video is put through judgment before it is given a permanent spot on the site. And if it doesn't get voted high enough, it gets deleted on the spot. On the one hand, this means that all the content on Newgrounds is quality content, but if you're new and starting out, you are not going to get much exposure there. Plus, Newgrounds is a niche website meant specifically for animators, artists, and game designers. They are not interested in your cat videos, your podcasts, or your Let's Plays. Newgrounds is great for peer-to-peer review, but YouTube it is not, and YouTube it will never be. Dailymotion is hands down the most toxic video hosting site I've ever seen. Back when I tried this, you had to watch 5 ads before you got to watch a 2-minute video. And when I tried it out again just recently to refresh my memory, yeah, you don't have to watch ads anymore for some reason, but that's okay, 'cause everything is an ad. The only thing on this site is ads, ads, ads. Seriously, if you look up YouTubers who have uploaded their videos here, this is what you see, and then you have to scroll down to find the channel. This is what the search result was when I looked up the word cat. This is no place for content creators or viewers. You know this place is bad when one of their stars is Viral Hog, the embodiment of corrupting the spirit of the internet. This place sucks. I don't think any of us are going to be uploading to Pornhub for obvious reasons. Streamable seems to be the Imgur of videos in that it exists as an unofficial accessory to Reddit, which isn't exactly known for its monetization potential. And all the other websites I can think of are illegal streaming sites that don't show up in search engines by design, unless you specifically search for them, or embed them to an external website. And let's face it, the age of the personal webpage is all but over. And yeah, there's Facebook, but let's be honest, do you really trust Facebook? I mean, where else are we supposed to go aside from YouTube? You expect us to upload our videos to Live Leak? Let's be real here. YouTube is the best product on the market. And many people may say, well, why doesn't somebody just make a YouTube competitor? Okay, well, let's go over all of the YouTube competitors that are dead. Rever, dead. Stopped paying its content creators. Blip.tv, dead. Shut down after being acquired by Disney. Vessel, dead. Shut down a whopping week after being acquired by Verizon. Google Video, dead because it sucked. Vine, dead. Amalgamated into a shitty Twitter app before being discontinued. VidMe, dead because lack of financial stability. All of these YouTube competitors are dead. Not because we didn't want a YouTube competitor, but because video hosting is hard. You either need to have a shit ton of money to own the infrastructure, or you need enough money to rent the infrastructure. And if you miss a month of rent, well, there goes your entire video archive, because whoever does own the infrastructure is just going to erase all your data so they can rent out the server space to someone else. That's the reality. Video files, especially HD files, are huge. You need a ton of resources to support the infrastructure it requires for that much server space. You need a ton of clout to attract the number of advertisers it requires to roll appropriate advertisements for that much content. And you need to have a ton of information about your audience to get the advertisers to cough up the money you need to keep the site running. The only reason YouTube has lasted as long as it has is because it is being run by Google. Google is one of only a handful of companies with enough resources to run all of that server space while operating at a loss. Google is one of only a few companies with enough clout to entice the number of companies it has. And gathering user data is Google's bread and butter. Hell, YouTube Analytics, which is basically just Google Analytics dumbed down, is evidence enough of that. No company knows more about its users than Google. This is why Dailymotion makes its users watch 5 ads, and YouTube only makes you watch 1 or 2. The Google ad flat out knows more about you and makes more money off you than any other ad possibly could. Google is a fucking idiot when it comes to the human touch. Google is a fucking idiot when it comes to user experience and user feedback. But Google is the only company with the tools YouTube needs to survive. Right now, YouTube is hurting. YouTube is lying on the ground, hurting like it has never hurt before. We do not always agree with YouTube. We do not always enjoy the way YouTube treats us. But we need YouTube. And right now, YouTube needs us. YouTube has given us a lot over the past 13 years. And right now, YouTube needs us to give a little back. YouTube is on its knees admitting it was wrong. Admitting that it does need human oversight. Admitting that it does need manual moderation. Admitting that it can't rely on the bots as much as it thought it could. I don't know if this is a little too late or not, but it is at least a step in the right direction. And if we need to give up 100 hypothetical dollars from a bunch of content creators who weren't making a living anyway, so the rest of YouTube who are relying on the site for their livelihoods can get vetted properly and have a shot at recovering from this horrific year, then that is a reasonable sacrifice in my eyes. Yeah, we may not get as much pocket change as we could have a year ago, and yeah, we might have to stick to our day jobs a little longer than we would have liked, but at least YouTube has a shot of recovering from this advertiser fallout. And yet, after all of this carnage and all these scary possibilities, you people are asking, what about my $100? Hopefully my next video will be a little less angry. God damn!